Okay, we're here with Backstreet Boys, two of them.
Yes.
Hello guys, how
The
are you
best two.
feeling?
Yes. Well, the two Latinos.
Congratulations for this new album. It's #1 in the States.
Thank you.
And many other countries. Did you ever expect, to get up to here with 9 records? And because normally when we think about a boy band, probably we think of a short story.
We never expected it to, to come about, like how it happened. But, I think we put a lot of work into making a great record. And we were blessed to have an unbelievable team, support around us. For them to bring us around with a #1 record, this go around here, it almost feels like a second rebirth of the Backstreet Boys, because we're just getting a lot of love again from radio and from media, and it's nice.
It's given you the chance also to work with young artists. Like Shawn Mendes, for instance. I don't know what these 20-year-old boys have brought to your music, and what have they brought to you also?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, we weren't in the studio with Shawn. We were in with Ryan Tedder, but I know Shawn and Ryan wrote the song "Chances" together. But Shawn is a very, very talented artist and talented musician, as well as a talented songwriter. When we heard the song, we fell in love with it, and then to find out that it was written by Shawn and Ryan, it was like, wow, this is crazy. And I saw quite a few interviews with people asking Shawn, what's it like to do something with the Backstreet Boys, and he's a big fan of ours, and he's like, it's a dream come true to be able to write a song for the Backstreet Boys. Like, it's kind of on my bucket list kind of a thing, which is awesome, and we would love to work with him again. I mean, he's a super talented kid, and wish him all the best. I mean,
what's the best for you in this whole career?
I think, well, for starters, just to be able to have a 26-year career, to be able to have the longevity, to be able to still be doing something that we love to do, and to have the best fans in the world that are still following us and still with us and supporting us. We saw it a lot in Las Vegas, and we're seeing it as well at a lot of our concerts now. We're seeing multiple generations of fans now. Fans that grew up with us are now married and have kids of their own.
Yeah.
So now they're bringing all their kids to our show, which is starting a whole new generation of Backstreet Boy fans, because the younger kids are into Bieber and One Direction and the younger groups, but now they're becoming fans of Backstreet Boys. So hopefully we can do this for 26 more years. We'll see.
Tell me why ain't nothing but a party. Tell me why ain't nothing but a mistake. Tell me why I never wanna hear you say I want it that way.
Do you remember this?
Yeah,
I do.
It was
yes.
1999.
before one of our shows, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, clearly we don't dress like this every day.
Yeah.
We're all matching outfits, so there must have been a show
Theater.
coming up.
Yeah.
How do you see yourselves there? Like
Younger.
20 years ago.
Younger, but I mean, a
That was
lot.
20 years ago?
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
20 years ago.
I hate to say it without it sounding conceited, but I think we look pretty similar to the same now. I don't think we've changed that
Oh,
much.
even better.
I don't think we've changed that much. I mean,
We have lots of great fun memories here in
Oh,
Spain.
yeah.
I mean, just the fans, the amazing culture that's here, the city, and going out for some great tapas, some paellas.
Oh, yeah.
And,
What do you
I
like
love
to
them.
eat here? What do
for
you like?
me, croquetas.
Oh,
Croquetas, chorizo, and
Wow.
any kind of just nice pork, some good meat. But
I love the paellas here. Paellas,
Oh, yeah.
the best.
was it here that the girls jumped the barbed wire? Was that in Spain? And ended up in our dressing room. Their jeans
don't
were all
know.
ripped. I thought that might have been Barcelona. We had fans in our dressing room waiting for us when we came backstage. I'm pretty sure it was in Spain. And their jeans were ripped and they were bloody.
Like mine.
They jumped over a barbed wire fence to get into the backstage area. And then once they saw us and we walked in, they kind of froze up, like they didn't know what to do in that moment. Like, they're here.
things are very different because you're traveling. We were talking before that you travel with your kids sometimes. How many kids do you have? All of you?
8 total,
8?
right?
And if I'm not wrong, we are in the family room now.
Yes.
We
Is
are,
that right?
yes.
Yes.
So you travel with them sometimes. You take them on tour with you.
We try to. I mean, right now, as it is, Nick's has his youngs with him out right now, Odin, and his wife. Different points on the tour. I know mine will be coming out in about a week and a half from now. Will be for 3 weeks, and then leave London, and Kevin's kids come in. Are you having your kids?
Unfortunately, my family's not going to make it out, so this will be the longest time I've been away from my family ever. It's because this particular tour is 7 weeks long, but because of scheduling and school, my oldest daughter is in dance school now, so she has dance competitions that she can't miss. So schedule-wise, it just doesn't work out. But they'll be with me on the summer tour when we're back in the States.
Yeah, the summer tour will have all of us. Will have our
Yeah.
families out because
Alright.
the kids will be out of school.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you normally do when you travel with your kids? I mean, how are the plans of Backstreet Boys and family when
Go
you travel
sightseeing
around
and
the world?
stuff. I mean, a lot of our kids are old enough now that they're in school and they're learning about history and learning about things that, you know, you can learn from you know, reading about it in a book. But if you can read about it and physically see it as well, that's pretty cool. There's so many families and kids around the world that may never get to travel or never get to do these things. Like if you're reading about the Eiffel Tower and then you can see it up close in person, that's pretty freaking cool. You know, so we try to do as much as we can. We try to get out and go sightseeing and experience the culture and the food and just experience all the different countries.
And how can we call you now? Because boy band is not your dad, dad band.
Call us
or-
whatever you want.
Call us whatever you want, just call us.
Yes.
No, I think we'll always be a boy band. We'll always be Backstreet Boys. You know, in the U.S., boys is a slang term for friends. And you look at people like the Beastie Boys, those guys are in their late 50s and they're still the Beastie Boys. The Beach Boys, the Oak Ridge Boys, the Pet Shop Boys, all those guys are significantly older than us and they still have boys. Backstreet Boys is who we are. It's a brand. It's us as a group. So we'll always be Backstreet Boys and be a boy band. Man band sounds creepy.
And how do you think the concept is evolving with the new, you know, music, new sound? I think you met like CNCO, the Latin. What do you think of this Latin trend in music?
I think it's great. I mean, AJ and I, like I said, we're part Latin, and so it's in our sangre, you know. So we love it. I think we you know, there's just, I don't know, I think Latin music is just so appealing worldwide. It just there's a lot of passion, you know, it's in the music. It's just something that always, even if it's the tempo stuff, there's just something that the rhythms just want to make people move. Yeah. And, you know, in the States, it's big. I mean, I'd say outside of English, it's by far the second biggest, you know, language in the States and music-wise in the States. And it's great to see, you know, artists crossing over.
I wish to God Howie and I could have wrote Despacito. We could retire right now. But we've known Fonzie since he was a little kid.
Yeah.
You sang in Spanish too, I remember. Will you do that again, or?
We'd love to. We're gonna do tonight. We're gonna sing "I'll Never Break Your Heart" and a little bit of Spanish.
Part of it in Spanish, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but we love. I mean, like I said, you know, the fact that we have Latin in the group, and we have a huge Latin fan base. For us, it's just something that it's just another extension of the Backstreet Boys. And you know, some of our Latin fans are some of the, you know, like they're the most, like, once again, most passionate, most cariñosa. They just have a lot of love for us, and we feel it every time we're here in Spain or in South America or Mexico. So it's great to have that, you know, amazing fan base that love and support us.
Do you speak Spanish with your family, or do you like keep in touch in a way with the culture and everything?
I just found out, we just all did our DNA tests and found out to coincide with the DNA album, we all did DNA tests because I was told from my family multiple things I was a mutt. And it turns out that I'm about almost 40% Iberian, which covers most of all the Spanish, you know, speaking languages. So I'm definitely Spanish, 100%. My mother-in-law is almost 100% Mexican, so she speaks fluent Spanish, and she's been teaching both my daughters how to speak Spanish. So I wish I spoke more. I'm trying to learn. I want to learn.
Believe it or not, I actually, every time I call my mom, I always start off in Spanish. but it lasts about like a minute and a half, to where eventually I start to say, okay, all right, mama, you know, in English, because I don't, you know, a couple words I'll lose. But I studied as a little kid. It's funny, like in the States, it's kind of it's sad. But as a little kid, I you know, my mother was Puerto Rican, my dad was all American, and the neighborhood that we lived in was pretty much all Anglo-Saxon. There was no other Spanish kids there. So as a little kid, I had none of my brothers and sisters, none of us had a desire to why we had to, you know, speak Spanish. And so unfortunately we didn't learn, and I regret that. So later on in life, and I got really close to being in a group called Menudo, and because of the fact that I didn't know Spanish was the reason why I wasn't in it. And so I knew after that, and after seeing Boys to Men singing in Spanish, a couple of their songs, I was like, I need to definitely learn Spanish. So I remember going in high school, taking high school courses and college courses. I even went to Berlitz courses.
You can learn with your kids. You can try and learn together.
I know. I have a song actually that I did.
So
it's funny.
To grandma
It says "No hablo español," una canción that I just released, and it's funny because it was as a little kid. And I'm sure AJ might have gotten it as well. When you look Spanish and you're around Spanish people, they automatically start speaking Spanish. And so I would have to always say,
español desgraciado. So mine is not so good. Not so good. But it's funny, like I can understand bits and pieces if they speak slow enough. But as far as me responding, I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know what to
For us,
say.
it's the same with English. Sometimes you really get lost.
Si tú hablas más despacio, entiendo más.
Ordering lunch at Starbucks today was a challenge for me.
Oh, really?
But I just kept pointing at things. I'm like, no, that one. Yes,
Eso,
yep, that
eso.
one. Okay, there we go.
What is the thing you miss most of the 90s? Anything that you...
Believe it or not, I miss the most how you were able to live more in the moment. I feel like in the 90s. You know, I think phones are amazing, and you know, social media is amazing, but it definitely, I feel like it has made you have to think a lot about, you know, every move that you're making.
I would agree. I miss the simplicity of the 90s with no social media. I miss the actual music of the 90s. You know, things to me in the past 10 years have gotten very repetitious. A lot of the same 5 or 10 artists are played on radio and that's it. You know, but things are coming full circle again, and everything is kind of that whole 90s sound, and even the 90s wardrobe and 90s everything is starting to make a big resurgence. So, you know, everything comes in like cycles.
I feel like in concerts even as well, it's like, you know, and I'm guilty of it as well. And I, you know, I just saw Bruno Mars and I was constantly filming. I feel like people just aren't able to be in the moment and live in the. They're constantly looking at the concerts now through their phones instead of actually looking at the show. So it's like, I feel there's a little bit more of a disconnection.
There's quite a few artists that actually make you like put your phone away before you come into their concerts, and I threw it out. Maybe we could start doing that with our fans, but our fans would lose their mind if they can't have a phone and, you know, film their favorite Backstreet Boy. But
now instead of the lighters, they just turn their phones.
They turn their phone light on to do this. It's safer. We're not burning down the venue.
Thank you very much.
Gracias.
And see you tonight.
Gracias.
Thanks for listening.
Muchas gracias.
See you guys.
Los 40 Classic.